a choice right now, between fear and love. It's just a ride.
Out of the dark night of ignorance and into the shining light of truth.
Expanding reality.
A population of citizens capable of critical thinking.
We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are.
There's a level of reality where everything dissolves into an ocean of energy.
We empower our experience by insisting on our authenticity.
That's very profound. Very.
Expanding reality.
Chris, Mathieu, welcome back, man. You sent me an amazing link to the newest episode of yours. It happened on the 4th. It happened May 4th, to be correcting myself here real time. And holy shit, I am fascinated by you always, but you just keep coming up with new fascinating revelations that you're so passionate about. And this is one of the coolest, most passionate episodes that you've delivered on here. And I've been listening to you for a long time, dude. And you have just such heart in this message. And so we absolutely wanted to give you an opportunity here ahead of our event. We had some afternoon time here, and I was like, you know what, fucking let's get this out, man. Let's tell folks about it. So I'm just as excited as you are, so much so that I invited Allison Steele. She is actually going to be stitching a little something down there with us. She is part of our creative expansion series. She's an insider, guys. She joins us for the Hangouts, which you can too at the link below. Now, she has an amazing show, Unravel with Allison, her own podcast that I will be linking down there along with her Instagram so you guys can check her out, as well as the piece that she is creating here in real time with Chris's energy. Hanging out, dude. So this is a really cool special event. I'm grateful in all angles. So for the audio-only audience, check the video in the link for the video down there in the description and check this out. There definitely is something to be seen here. The passion in Chris's eyes as well. So, Chris, dude, good to see you. You're a veteran. All the ways, to find you and all the past episodes linked down below. So, what's on your mind, brother? How are you?
Hey, man, I am incredible beyond description. I'll tell you that much. And I'm very much looking forward to what Miss Allison comes up with today. This is intriguing to me. I'm so excited. I'm excited to be here. And best of all, I got good news for all, and I'm excited to share it with you. And it's story time. I got a little story for y'all if y'all would like to hear it.
Wrote a song about it. Want to hear it? Here it go. Please, Chris, break this off, dude, because this is just fascinating. I'm linking, it happened on the 4th anyway, but please, the floor is yours, my friend.
All right. Yeah, I figured I'd be telling this story a few times, so it's going to get refined and more details will come out along the way. So my first telling, this will have a little bit more, so y'all get to hear a little bit more of the story today. And man, I just get pieces coming in every second. It's quite incredible. I'm quite connected right now. So let's get into it, man. And first, I just want to tell everyone, like I told everyone on my first episode, may the 4th be with you all. And this here, if this story, if it makes you nervous or it scares you, maybe you should listen closely. And if you're still scared by the end, maybe you should listen one more time. Because for me, this was everything. This changed my entire life. And I was looking for something to believe in, and I found a belief, man. I was swimming in a sea of non-belief and searching. And I was from a very young age, I was looking for God. I was born into a very religious Catholic Christian home. I mean, my mom went to church every Sunday. She was probably a little bit more into it than my dad, but the whole vibe of that area in South Louisiana was, Catholic Christian, and that's what I grew. I was baptized into it, and I went to the church every Sunday. And I hated that, man. That was the most terrifying, scarifying experiences of my life. I used to dread getting up on Sunday and going to these strange cathedral buildings with a picture of a dude getting mutilated and mauled, and he's dead on a cross, and I gotta go, and they're talking about demons and damnation, and if you don't do this way, you're gonna go to hell, and there's only one way to go, and that's it. And I'm like, oh man, if this is it, this is terrifying. I cannot deal with this. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel like this is not how I should be rolling. This is not how anybody should be rolling, really. But I wasn't going to say, I'm going to exit this situation. So I bide my time through my teenage years. I stopped going to church real quick, about, 10, 12 years old, and I fall into a bad crowd. And this one time when I was 16 years old, well, before that, let's back up. I'm forgetting some things already, man. Already. Okay, so I'm drawn to the dark. I'm falling in a bad crowd. And here is some things that I didn't have the first story. So here's some additions, some memories that came back. So I had this family friend that was a high-level Freemason, a Grand Master, if you will, and his wife and him were best friends with my parents. My parents were very Catholic Christian, and these people identified as Christian as well, but they had this little extra thing going where the husband in the situation was a Masonic Grand Master, and he was a Shriner. And that's all I saw as a kid. He'd dress up as a clown. He'd give things away to kids. He'd be at the parades with his little fez on, man. And I do have a few memories. They'd bring me to lodge meetings, dude. And like, I'd be the only kid sitting at the head of a table. And like, they'd all be doing these prayer things over me and baga boo. And I don't remember none of it, man. I just remember it was cool. They'd wear these little crazy hats, and I'd be at the front of the table. I'd be like at the head of the table, and they'd be like including me in the meeting and shit. I'd be 4 or 5 years old, bro. No other kids in this place. Just me. I didn't care. This is fun, man. I'm going to have a fun with it. They'd let me ride my little trike around while they do their thing. Like I was just part of their thing. So like, I'd forget about all that. That was just something fun I did as a kid, good memories and stuff. And there wasn't one time where this Grand Master brought me fishing alone. And I don't remember, I didn't remember any of that trip. I do now. I don't know if I should tell you that now or later. We might come back to that. I'm going to write this down. We're going to come, because this is an important piece of the puzzle. I'm going to write this down. All right. Now we're going to continue with my childhood here. So, kind of strange things with these people, but they loved me. I loved them. They were such amazing people. My parents would drop me off at their house whenever they needed to go anywhere. And I spent many, many years with these people, and they were like my second parents. There was like a different side of my parents that I really enjoyed hanging out with. And my mom and dad are still friends with this lady. Unfortunately, Mr. Danny, the Grand Master, passed away a few years ago. Very unusual circumstances there as well. But that's a later piece of the puzzle. We won't talk about that today. So going back to the childhood, man, I've always just been slightly ahead of the game when it come to awareness. Even as a kid, I just slightly ahead of all the other kids, and I was a weirdo, man. Outcast, totally. Like, kids were scared of me. I was mostly by myself. I would hang out with the weirdos and the nerdos, and we would we was cool. Like, that was my tribe all through high school, even, and, eventually I hit high school, and, I fall into the punk rock crowd, and I'm playing guitar, man. I start playing guitar at the age of 10, and I get good, and I'm playing in bands, and I'm always in bands, like from the time I was like 13 to the end of my 20s, playing indie rock and punk rock. And, each band I'm in eventually picks up a little bit steam, and we do some touring around New Orleans, and it's fun. We played with some pretty big acts like Less Than Jake and, man, a few other things. And it was fun, man. That was one of the best times of my life is experiencing the sex, drugs, and rock and roll as a teenager, like real time, man. From the time I was like 14 to 20, that was it. I was in that lifestyle. And this one time when I was 16, my friend said, "You want to do some acid?" I said, before he could even finish Sid, I said, "Oh, yes, let's do this." I took too much, man, though. Like everybody else took one, I'd had to take two. I had to take two, man. Like, why? I don't know. I did. So I took two, and me and my friends are just like, we're starting to see dragons in the sky and all kinds of fun stuff, man. And it's fun. And one of my other friends comes pick us up, and the music is something new. Like the music's blaring in the car, and I never heard music like this before, man. It's a song I heard before, but it's brand new. It's brand new now. I'm like, whoa, everything's brand new. I'm like, this is something. This is something. So we go to the woods and we start walking around the woods, looking around, and I got caught up looking at a tree, man, and my friends just keep walking. I got caught up looking at a tree for like, I don't know how long. And then I'm gone. Just my conscious leaves the body. I'm not sure where it went exactly. I have little memories here and there. I have memories of coming across this like cosmic little league team and melting into greats and coming across this deity that gave me some profound information that I did not remember. And the next thing I know, I'm starting to come to, but I'm walking in the middle of the road and I'm tapping on people's car windows, and I'm lucky I don't get cops called on me. And it's crazy, man. And I'm still just out of my mind. My friends, I hear them yelling behind me. They're riding bicycles. They're like, "Dude, where you been?" I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. So they bring me home. I come back from that. The next day, I'm like, there's something different with this. There's something weird with this world, man. I was 16. I was like, there's something going on here. I knew it. I seen it. I did it. I was there. There was something, but I didn't remember what it was. I didn't remember. And from then on, I had to know what that was. So I fell in love with psychedelics. I started selling acid in high school, man. I was slinging that stuff in high school, taking 10 strips at a time, man, just trying to figure it all out, man. That stuff wasn't helpful, though. It was limited because man made that stuff. It helped me get through, my teenage years and have some major realizations. But by the time I was 20 and I married the wrong one, I forgot it all. And I was just in the matrix living, man. I hit my 20s. I moved to Florida because, well, I know why. I went to Full Sail University for digital media. So that's where I went. Florida, my first wife, not a good match, high school sweetheart, kind of with the psychedelics for like, I'm always like, I found, man, I have to go back to marijuana. When I found marijuana at 13, it changed my brain forever. Like I started learning better. I started just being myself. Like I was able to like feel like I was more myself, and it was like a great medication for me, and it got me through so much. So I'm in Florida, and just horrible jobs, pizza deliveries, UPS managers, all this stuff, and just lost in bad relationship. Eventually 2012 comes along and the relationship falls apart, and I just know that there's something else for me in this world in 2012. And I moved back to Houma, Louisiana, where I was from, where God first found me. So I'm going back to Houma, Louisiana, and I get a divorce from my first wife. I knew that wasn't the right way. And I start doing this corporate job, selling cell phones. And my life is pretty dark, man. It's pretty dark. Before that, when I was married and in Florida, I got addicted to opiates, man. I got addicted to them oxycodones for a long time after a surgery I had. And even before that, a little bit, I was dabbling, but I had a surgery and then I was like hooked. So I was in that dark place almost like, the second half of that whole marriage. And then 2012, I get home, I get clean, I start working this job, and this job is awful, man. I'm making good money, though. I'm like hustling people. It's awful. I'm like, scamming people to buy this phone and get this internet, and this old lady who can't afford it. Why not do this? It's just awful. Awful stuff that you do in that corporate realm, Brent, man. And I was in it. And I thought that's all I was. I'm going to retire from AT&T. Yeah, I'm going to have some, cushy whatever they give you when you retire from these hellholes, I don't know. I'm gonna be set, and I'm just keep scamming people. That's gonna be my life. Well, no, man, that's not what happened. I start just watching YouTube videos at work when I should be working. And I start scrolling the internet and I start ordering books and stuff. Just shit I'm interested in, man. I'm seeking. Because it came back. I'm like, there's something else I need to be doing. This ain't it. And I'm just looking up conspiracies and paranormal and UFO. Oh, there's something else to this wonderful, magical world. So I'm in it. I'm just absorbing it. I'm like, it's too much to have in my brain. I gotta share it. I can't hold on to this. So I started Facebook blog. Eventually people start like responding, and I got followers on Facebook on this new page, Forbidden Knowledge News. The name just came to me, and I'm like, I got to start interviewing people. I got to start doing better. And I've told this story before. I've come on here and kind of told my origin story of how everything, if everyone wants to go back and listen to that, I started doing Forbidden Knowledge News. I am still in my corporate job, and I'm just lost. I don't know. I'm hearing all these crazy conspiracies and these truths and revelations, and I have no spiritual backing to any of this. And I'm like, man, we're in an Archon infested worm farm, and it was just all off. I didn't know what to do with any of it, man. And I'm like, all right, I got to figure this out. So, and at the time I'm in a rebound relationship from a second marriage, and it's bad times, man. It's bad times all around. And one day I'm like, how am I supposed to figure this out? Somebody along the way says, why don't try meditation? Oh, okay. That's my meditation. I hear about it I talk about it. Maybe I should do it. So I have my first contact story where I'll briefly recap. One evening, I decide to meditate. This voice comes along in my meditation, profound. I'm like, something's talking to me, man. And it introduces itself as Laird, the Arcturian. And I'm like, whatever, man, I'm going crazy. This is an acid flashback. This gotta be. So I have this couple of hour-long conversation with Laird saying it's time for you to get your shit together. You got to heal your childhood trauma. You got to stop being in these messed up relationships. You got a path, man. You see this show you doing? That's it. Quit that job, dude. Quit it. Quit. I'm like, no, I make almost 70 grand. I ain't going to quit this. What? No. He said, yes. So I'm struggling, man. Now this first contact experience for me, I'm calling people like I talk to maybe the devil, maybe an alien. Maybe myself, maybe it's I still didn't figure it out till the other day, but we'll get to that. Man, so I have to recreate this somehow. So I go into another meditation a few days later, except I'm in the tub. I'm in water this time. And it's like, it's super strong connect. Immediately, Laird starts talking to me. He starts showing me these visions. He shows me this vision of a childhood trauma that I needed to get over. And it's like, once I experienced it, this weight lifted, and I'm like, oh, that's great. And I start asking Laird, well, what the hell are you? Who are you? What's going on here, man? And that's when I close my eyes and I'm on this etheric spaceship. And they got these robed figures all around me. Some are wearing crowns. Some look like frog hybrids. Some look like dog hybrids. There's just different hybrid animal type, etheric extraterrestrial looking species with robes. And some of them got crowns, and they talking to me, man. And we have to go back to this at the end too, because this is the major important message of it all. So they said, we have a message for you, and you have a task to do here on Earth. And they told me that task. Do you accept but I didn't remember it. I'm like, I said, yes, I do. I felt so good because is like, oh, I'm going to have a cosmic task today. I got something to do. And I felt like I had something to do. And there was I just accepted. I said, yes. And they're like, all right, man. Well, here you go. This is what you got to start doing. They start, read this, look into that, do this, quit your job, get the hell out of here. Do some mushrooms, man. That's what I said, what? Do some mushrooms? They said, yes, we got some message. Those things have some messages for you. I said, all right, I used to love LSD. I did mushrooms once or twice and they scared the shit out of me. But you know what? I'm going to try it again. I'm going to give it a shot. And I was like, Colorado, legal marijuana, legal mushroomies. I'm like, the mountains, man, the mountains have called me my whole dang life. So out west called me, man. I need to go there. So if we find Colorado, we start out in Denver and I just leave. Somewhere along the way, I find this dude, Corey Hughes. He's my now producer. He's the exact opposite of me. He's an atheist. He don't have no spiritual belief, but he's a genius, man. He figured out Kennedy assassination like in a heartbeat, and he's like the idiot savant Rain Man of JFK and World War II and all our hidden history. He knows it. He just knows it, man. It just, boom. So I meet him along the way, and he helped me get the podcast side going, and I owe him so much for setting up this podcast for me. And he became my co-producer. He started his shows. We start combining our creative stuff. So we start doing conferences. We're gonna build this into something, man. I have a partner now. He's the analytical, just material dude, and I'm in the sky somewhere looking for the answers, and we came together. So there's that. We're in Denver now, and I'm scared. We're struggling. I took out my 401k. It's all the money I had, man, and we living off it. Then Corey gets fired from his online job, and I'm like, oh, dude, we are so screwed, man. Within about 3 months, it's like I look at our revenue and we can pay the damn rent. Oh my God, rent was high and we can pay it. And a few months go by and it's like we can eat too. It's not only paying rent, we can eat now. And I'm like, this is what I was supposed to do. This forbidden knowledge news thing, man. All right. So I start feeling better about it and I start getting things going, man. At the same time, I'm doing mushrooms. I'm growing them and I'm doing them. And man, the first few times I'm so scared I can't do it. Like I'll start to feel it and I'll just want to go. Nope, I can't do this, man. And then this voice said, yes, you can have a glass of wine, dude. Chill out. I'm like, what? Okay. So before each session, I start getting me a bottle of wine, bottle of nice red wine, not too cheap, just some pretty good stuff. And I pour a nice tall glass, man. Enough to where I'm like, if I drink it down and I'm relaxed, I'm like, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. So that's what I start doing. And then I have the fear's kind of there. It's always there, but it's like I can deal with it, I can deal with the messages coming through and my emotions ain't getting in the way. They ain't saying, oh, you got to run. Oh, you don't want to hear this. This is too hard for you to hear right now, man. No, I didn't have that. I just received the red wine, just let it all come to me. And I'd be kind of nervous to hear the message. And then I'd be able to process it. The next day it'd still be there. I wasn't, under the effects of alcohol or mushrooms, but the message was there. Sometimes I'd forget it because it's like a dream sometimes until I started writing it down. That comes later. So I'm having these profound experiences and it's just all about first healing stuff, man, just healing myself, coming to different awarenesses about my childhood and traumas and relationships that I'm in and just all kinds of things. And eventually, this woman, I'm not going to say her name. Some of you may know who she is, came into my life. She was a fan of the show. And she was very persuasive in how she felt about me. And, that was, I felt obligated, I guess, man. And she was cool. And she offered to pay for all kind of stuff and get me going. And so I hooked up with this girl and I split from Corey. I'm like, Corey's, he's okay to do his own thing now. He moved to Florida for a little bit. I feel so bad that I let him do that. But hey, he did it. I was out with this woman and she's like, yeah, we're gonna turn your show into something, but you got to ditch Corey, man. You got to ditch this guy. He's just holding you back. And I'm like, what? Maybe. I don't know. So this woman here, she's a psychic medium. She does healings and stuff. And it was never cool. Like we was friends and all, and we had our, sexual thing going on. But other than that, it was like something's not right here, man. So she was interested in mushrooms because I'm always doing them. She wants to try them one day with me. I'm like, sure. Well, long story short, because it's a long story here too. I end up feeding her a whole shit ton because she says she don't feel nothing. Like after a couple hours, nothing. I'm like out of my mind. I just take a couple of grams out of my mind. Like, you don't feel, oh, this is crazy. All right. Red flag number one, something strange here. So she's like, let me do a childhood regression, some healing thing on you. Let's heal some trauma together. Since I can do this for you. I'm like, all right. So we do. And we kind of like retrieve a real memory, and I remember it and it comes through, but it turns out, on retrospect, it's not, she was feeding some things into it. And I retrieved the real memory the other day, but it was kind of like a false memory that she implanted in there because she was leading me along. Oh, I see that now. I didn't see it then. So I felt better. I felt like, man, she helped me heal some shit. And then she's talking to me, and all of a sudden what she's saying gets dark. She's like, Chris, I found you a long time ago and attached myself to you, and I helped you get where you were. I helped you. I gave you information, and now I feel like you don't love me anymore and you're going to leave me. And as she said that, bro, she shapeshifted into a reptilian, man. Her face turned into a reptile that had teeth. She even grew a few inches taller, man. And she had my ex's nightgown on. And she said, you don't love me anymore? And she started chasing me around the house, man. At this point, my whole house turns into a dungeon, and she's reptiles chasing me around. You don't love me? I'd lock myself in the basement. I said, what the hell's going on? Here's the first time I thought I died in my life. I said, I died. This is the only thing that could explain what's happening right now. I just died and I'm in hell and I got to deal with it. That's it. That's what I got to do. So I'm like, I'll just go face it. I go back upstairs and I'm like, she's nowhere around. I'm like, oh shit, what's going on, man? I jump in I want some water on me. I'm like, I'm in the shower. I'm like, what's going on, man? I'm terrified. I died. I said, God, please help me, God. And the second time, I just felt this rumbling inside my gut, and I puked up this black goo, man, this black substance into the shower, and everything turned bright and beautiful. I feel this beautiful presence all over me, and it says, you were being deceived. And it's just like, I felt this like angel, and I'm thinking in my mind, Archangel Michael's here. I'm like, what? No, I just feel it, man. And I walk outside, and she's like doing this meditation. She's like, oh, you freaked out. I'm so blah, 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 blah. After this experience, our relationship fell the hell apart, man. She started showing her real self, her like materialistic, greedy, what she was all about, like not even caring about me at all. Like it quickly de-escalated after that experience. And I was like, hey, you got to go. This ain't working, man. This ain't working. So there's that, man. That happened. And I'm like, there's something else, another weird piece of the puzzle. I'm not supposed to be with this one. Well, man, not even like 6 months go by, and I meet this wonderful woman named Jennifer Halcomb. And that's gonna be my wife soon. We're engaged now, and she is one of my angels that I met along the way to help guide me. And man, this woman's special, and you've met her, so we'll save that for another time. But I met this special woman, and my life starts going good, man. Things start going really good, I come to the revelation that I got to get my movie made. Something in the back of my mind that I've been wanting to do. I want to make a documentary. And that just flows through, I got some improvements to make next time, but it came out and I did what I did. And it's now on Tubi. So I made a movie, and I'm like, yeah, man, that's one of the things I had to do. There's more. There's something else. And I'm like, I want to make another movie. So I'm in current production of another movie. The premise is shifted a little, but it's still the same overall thing, So yeah, man, I make a movie, and it's great. Now, at the same time, I'm going through these amazing consciousness exploration journeys where I'm being taught, I'm being given cosmic information, and I'm being tested in many different ways. And I'm facing off against different entities that are trying to deceive me, and I have to outsmart them or figure out that they're trying to deceive me. Then I go through attachment banishing. If I see something on Jennifer and I get it out of her. A couple of my friends, I seen it on them, and I get it out of them. It's like, man, I can see some of these things on people now, and I can see some of the nasties around us, and I start interacting with those things, and I clear some nasties out of me, man. I had some real dark stuff deep inside me. I had this big snake in my gut, and I had to banish that by going back to my inner child when I was about 4 or 5 years old and move him out of a certain situation and hug him and say, it's okay. That didn't happen anymore. And it changed the future, man. It changed the future. I don't have that anymore. So that was one of my healing processes. Now, after my healings, I start going to these astral classrooms, learning cosmic wisdom, magic and manifestation, and different tricks and shit, different how to tell if a person's got a good intention. All these amazing life meditation techniques, just everything, man, cosmic knowledge from the universe. And I'm going through different tests, and one of the most important tests that I ever went through was, it was like a puzzle box that they showed me, and they showed me the dangers of different beliefs. And I went through and I lived different false belief systems that I used to have or currently had at that time. Like, oh, we live in a matrix, and some intelligent, either human or something in the future created all this because they got so smart, and, they want to, the world was destroyed, and this is the only way we could experience things. That's one option. I experienced that and came out of it, and there was like, nah, that's not it. They showed me another where, I'm an artificial intelligence, all these just crazy things, man, that I used to think maybe this is what our reality is. We're Archon feasting thing, just all these different things. And they were like, no, we already showed you a time before exactly what this is. And then I remembered there was like 3 other times where they're like, this is what it is. And I was like, oh, all right. And I was so cool with it. It was wonderful. And I was ready to spread the word. And I forget when I wake up, man. For even if I write it down, I'd write down gibberish when it came to that one realization of what they kept telling me the whole time about what it's all about. I'd write down gibberish. I would literally be just a scribble, and I never would remember it. Never until I was ready. I wasn't ready yet. So there's more. I get, more cosmic trainings. Man, have me do some weird stuff like stand up straight. They made me stand up straight for 45 minutes and stare at the ceiling and become connected with God for like, man, it was like an initiation after initiation for a while. And it got hard, man. At a point I was like, I don't know if I want to go back. This is getting difficult. Like, they putting me through some things. And I was like, all right. And then this one time it just all exploded, and it was like, you're done. Like, I went through these levels of all the astral realms, and each level contained a different deity that I would have to meet, and he would approve of me, and he'd say, oh, you passed all our tests. It was the kings of each kingdom, man. I was meeting the kings of each of these layers of reality that surround us. And this one time I was going through, man, I met some Vedic gods. I met Buddhas. I met all these cosmic deities along the way, and we'd have a little conversation at this layer, and he'd be like, I approve, you proceed. I'd go up to the next layer. He'd be like, hey, man, you're cool. I approve. You proceed. Man, I got to the top, and it was me. And I'm like, oh, so this is what it's all about. It's just, me, this is my higher self. We creating all this stuff, and that's what everybody's higher self, and it's all just connected, and that's what it is. That's what it's all about. And I was close, man. I was like, yeah, that's what it's all about. And I felt almost that was it. I woke up the next day. I was excited. But like, the excitement always left. It always fleeting, It's like, man, I thought that was it. I thought I'd be connected now, and I'd have the answers. I talked to my higher self, and and each time I'd go in and I'd get to that layer again, which happened quite a few times. I kept going back to that higher self. They'd like start doing little adjustments in my chakras, and then they'd like start getting these bad thought processes that would remain out, and I'd have these conversations with what I understood at the time as my highest self. And that eventually turned into something else, man. Now, the whole time that, me and Jen actually start doing explorations together. She is fond of the mushrooms as well. So we start having experiences, beautiful experiences together, healing things together. And we have this one where we explore our past lives together. Now, going back to Laird, the first cosmic entity that I ever met, Laird would come and join us every once in a while. I would allow him to come in and I would channel him. And Laird was amazing, man. He'd tell us some stories about being Arcturian, and he'd give us great knowledge about what, some things that we have questions about and healings and all this stuff. And me and Jennifer went in one time and we were seeing our past lives together. And I saw this one time where there was big Egyptian, I don't know if it was Egypt, but they had Egyptian looking pyramids around. And I got the intuition that I was a vengeful ruler and she was my queen, and things weren't so good, man. And she died, and I rejected everything, like God's creation, everything. I was mad. And my next incarnation, I saw that I was Laird. I was an Arcturian because I was done with humans, man. I didn't want to be that no more. So I was like, let me try and be this. I'm going to be an Arcturian. Well, guess what? They kicked me out, man. I was not ready for that, and I was not vibrating high enough. They banished me from their realm, dude. I was Laird. I was an Arcturian. I was in their realm, but I wasn't vibing high enough because I was still traumatized from my previous life as a vengeful ruler that denounced God. So they said, man, you got to go. So Laird was floating around the cosmos, man. He was lost until he said he saw this little beacon of light on Earth, which was my head. And he said, I'm going to talk to this dude. So that's where Laird first came. He saw that beacon of light and he said, I'll go talk to that dude. Well, every once in a while, me and Jen would channel Laird. Laird would come through. Well, this one time at band camp, we was deep in it, and she's like, let's talk to Laird. And I'm always like, damn, because every time Laird comes through, it's like this weird, like I go through these contortions, and it's a weird feeling, man, of this spirit coming in me. And it's, I'm like, okay, whatever, dude, let's do it. Well, he comes in, man, and it's the most difficult time I've ever had getting this dude in. It seemed like it took 5 minutes. I'm like, God damn, what's going on, Laird? What are you doing? And he gets in there and he's looking at my hands, man. Since he's afraid, he's like, what's going on? I'm you, dude. This ain't right. And all of a sudden, I just start going into convulsions and flipping around the room. I had a cyst that was huge on my neck, and it just started draining. I felt it draining into me, man. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on, Jen. And she's just kind of just sitting there looking. She's not scared or nothing. And I'm just like, I don't think it's bad. I'll tell you. And just all of a sudden, all the revelation, all the memories of Laird just flooding into me, man. So I understood then. Laird was a piece of my consciousness. He came back and he said, hey, we're going to go home together. I'm ready to go home. You're ready to go home. I'm coming back because I guess it's time, and we got to find this. So Laird was reintegrated with me. I don't have to channel him anymore. He's just always there. He's like this new part of me that just comes out and, speaks up every once in a while and shares some things with us. And he's there. He's just me now. It's just part of me. So that was the next, kind of big piece of the puzzle that came through. Fallen Laird has fallen into me. So the next few times I do mushrooms, things start to get crazy, man. I start to see future selves of myself. I start to see wormholes, and I start to enter these wormholes and live different lifetimes temporarily. Things are getting weird, man. They're getting real intense, and I never expected anything like that to ever happen. I'm fully immersed in these experiences in other realms, man. And I'd come back and I'd be like, this is getting crazy, man. I'm thinking maybe one day I'll go in there and I won't be able to come back. Maybe I'll be stuck in that damn realm. So, but it's so fun for me. Like I'm so into it. My exploring ass is just like bring it on, So I'm like, I can't wait to do it again. So all these weird things. I meet like a portal opens up in my room, and I see my future self as a scientist saying, "We've done it. We've come up with a revelation." I'm like, "What revelation?" And the portal closes, and I'm freaking out, man. All kinds of crazy stuff like that starts happening. And I'm just like, let's keep it going. Let's see how far we can go with this stuff, man.
Why not?
Even Corey's like, dude, I've never known anyone that's going, geez, man.
You're brave,
so
dude. Bold and brave. You're going deep, and we appreciate it.
I appreciate it too now, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So eventually, it gets past kind of those experiences. And now I'm like, I'm protecting other intelligences and realms from baddies. I'm like, when I'm there, I'm like, hey, dude, stay away from him. And I'm like helping other things, and I'm like teaching other things while I'm there, and like, just giving my knowledge to other lost things and helping them find light and all these things that, it's just, it would come naturally. It's like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do here now. And I'm, interacting with all these things. All right. So now we're going to get to the fateful May the 4th. May the 4th be with you all. This was the other day. This is my new birthday, man. It changed. It's my second birthday. It changed everything in my life. And it's such a beautiful thing, man. So May the 4th was a normal day at first. I woke up and I just wasn't feeling it. Why do I feel just off today? I don't know. And Jen's like, oh, let's go to the metaphysical fair. I said, okay, usually these things are fun for me. I usually have a good time, but something was off, man. I wasn't feeling it. And, I was actually dreading it. And I'm like, why do I feel this way? We get there and it's even worse. I'm like, oh, I feel sick. I thought maybe there's some evil psychics in there putting bad juju on people. I don't know. So I'm walking around it trying to find this bad energy from people, and it's in me. It's like it's coming from me, man. It's coming from me. So I don't know what to do. And we walk, Jen's all happy, and I'm all, she's like, oh, look, aura photography. Let's go. And I'm like, oh shit. It got even worse. And I'm like, I don't want to do this, man. There's something telling me, I don't know. It just feels weird. So we go up, and it's a lady doing aura photography. She takes a picture, your aura shows up, and she reads about it. She tells you about what she sees. And I'm just so reluctant. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. I did it for Jen, man. I sit down in this chair, and I have the biggest, fakest smile, but you can see in my eyes, I'm terrified. She takes this picture, man. And it's the crazy, like compared to everybody else's picture on there, dude, I got every color in the universe around me. It's like, I'm like, whoa, is that normal? What is that? She's like, well, it's interesting. You got, your voices here is very loud and powerful and all these things. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And then she's like, you got too many beliefs. I was like, what? And Corey's like, well, so he's never going to get rich. He pops his head in. So he's never going to get rich. He's like, no, he's never going to find anything. He's got too many. I could feel my face turning red, man. I could feel it all just boiling up. I was mad. I said, okay, thank you, ma'am. Paid for the little. And I walked away and I just pouted, man. I was pouting the whole time. Jen's having fun. And I don't tell anyone about it till the ride home. I was like, that lady's a shyster. Oh, she's full of, dude, I was mad at this lady. I was like, she don't know what the hell she's talking about. Oh, I was angry, and I didn't know why, man. And nowadays, when I get in these deep philosophical situations where I don't know why something's going on, I'm going to probably eat a bunch of mushrooms. And that's what I did, man. And looking back, they said, you'll be back May the 4th. So we'll see you then. And I had forgotten until, afterwards. So I take them, man, and I'm going in. And this is a part that I forgot to tell Lindsay the other day, and it's such an important piece. I'm going to tell you today. So I go in, and whenever I first go in, I just called to water. I go in the tub for a little bit, and then I just get all my downloads. I get everything taken care of now within like 20 minutes. So like the last few times, I'd get everything done in 20 minutes and just go have a good old time talking to Corey or just talking his ass off, just man, listen, this is what happened. And he would just man, God bless him, he'd listen. So
Shout out Corey. He's so
yeah,
great.
man.
He's such a great dude.
So I go in this time, I'm getting my downloads, and these little beings come up to me and they're like, hey, you're the king. And I'm like, no, what? You get away. Stop doing that. Like, no, dudes. They're like, yeah, they're trying to like worship me. And I'm like, no, stop it. Y'all go away. So I'm out of the tub and I'm like, I got all these beautiful revelations of things and I'm ready to go, man. I'm so happy. Jen's like, well, good. I'm going to bed. I need to go to sleep. So I'm like, cool. Night. Give her a kiss good night. I'm like, I'm going to go talk Corey's head off the rest of the night. And he's like, let's go watch Cocaine Bear. So I'm like, all right, that's a cool movie. Let's go watch it. So let me pull up my notes here, man.
It's got
I'm
a
watching.
great soundtrack. That Cocaine
Yeah,
Bear.
it does.
Yeah.
It does. So, all right. So we're watching oh no, I got to go back. This is before Cocaine Bear. I got to go back. This is the part I missed out on. Oh, I'm so glad I get this part out. So yes, we start watching Cocaine Bear. And then all of a sudden, man, I hear a voice in my head say, fuck you. Now, let me give you a little background. The people in this house that lived in this house before were a same-sex lesbian couple that, from what I understand, argued every minute of their lives, and this was a very toxic environment. And they live now 4 houses down, and we can hear them yelling at 3 a.m. at each other. All right, so with that in your mind, they were the ones previous to us here. So I hear in my head, fuck you. And I'm like, what? It had just a nasty energy that came with it. Just awful. I'm like, dude, stop this movie. I got to go for a walk outside. We'll come back to this later. So I go outside and I'm like, did someone say fuck you? They're like, yeah, get the fuck out of my house. I said, what? I said, oh no. And I just immediately knew what was happening. I immediately knew. I knew it. I go back to the tub. I'll run a minute. I'm like, all right, we're going to have a conversation now like some adults. I said, I know who you are. And you guess who it was? It was the energy of their arguments that took on a life of its own in this house and thought this was its house, man, and was trying to get us to leave, bro. That shit exists. They're not dead. They're still alive, but their energy is so powerful. The nastiness they left behind, it took on a life of its own, and it was yelling, fuck you, get out of my house to me.
Well, because you probably needed to feed it with that energy, and you weren't.
Well,
so
listen,
it was getting
listen to what happened, man. I
So
was like, I start to get angry. I'm like, no, this is my house. You don't belong here. And I'm trying to go the regular route of arguing, and that ain't going nowhere because that's all they do is argue. So it's feeding it. I'm like, hold on. I said, hey, let me show y'all something. I laid back and I opened my heart. Dude, they got so scared. They said, I'm so sorry. We understand. And I even felt them shut the door and apologize on their way out, man. They jetted as quick as they possibly could. They said, I'm so sorry, we're out. We didn't mean it. They was scared and they left, whatever this energy was. And I had to go tell Jen she's not quite asleep yet. I'm like, Jen, I got them out, because she was feeling them, man. She was feeling it. She's like, there's something in this house, man. There's something nasty. And I was like, I know. I don't know what it is. We'll figure it out. So I told her, I was like, just go. I got them. She's excited. All right, I'm going to sleep. So I went tell Corey, and he's like, man, there may be something to it. God bless him. He's open-minded. He's like, let's go watch Cocaine Bear. Like, all right, let's go finish Cocaine Bear, man. So I'm sitting there watching Cocaine Bear, and all of a sudden, like, the hallucinations, man, become intense, dude. Like, I'm seeing the kids in the movie had little birds flying around their heads, and they had angel wings, and all of a sudden things start popping out of the TV, and I'm like, all right, I need to go back outside, Corey. Come talk with me, dude. This is getting intense. So we go outside, and we start having this deep philosophical conversation about what brought us together, and like, what brings such an opposite person like you to, into my life. What is this? There's something weird going on here, and I think there's something behind it. And he starts giving this really long very well thought out, scientific, very grounded explanation for everything. And it made a lot of sense, man. It was like, yeah, that's probably why. And I was like, there may be something else, though. There may be something else to it. And then I look at him and I saw all the times before that we were sitting there at that very table having this very conversation. I saw it all. It's like, we did this before too many times. And he said, yeah, but it gets refined. And I was like, phew. I said, it does. And it's a lot better this time. It's so much better. So he goes, so our house, to premise this, is upstairs is exactly the same as the downstairs. We have a living room upstairs, a living room downstairs, two bedrooms upstairs, 2 bedrooms downstairs, bathroom. It's identical except for the laundry room. It's an add-on. Man, he's downstairs. He lives downstairs. Me and Jen live upstairs. Okay. So I just come to this realization all of a sudden, and I chase him down the stairs, and I'm like, hey, Corey, and it just leaves me. Never mind. So I go back up the stairs, and I go up, and I'm like, oh, as above, so below. Holy wow, more just explosions in my brain, man. And I just start realizing, I'm like, wait, reincarnation is real. Wait, all these things are real. And I start realizing, like, my life that has led me to this, and I've done all this before, and it's gone. And then I'm like, I know what I have to do. I have to present this as a new law of the universe somehow. And I'm going to become famous, and I'm going to be the most famous man in the world, and everybody's going to know it. And like ego started just boom, boom, kicking in hard, man. And I said, you know what? Y'all humans are stupid. Y'all don't know nothing. Look, all these years, y'all, where did he get y'all? And then this where things got weird, man. This is where Corey looks at me, but this wasn't Corey talking anymore. Something else took over my perception. I want you to think of Bruce Almighty and Morgan Freeman, okay? So all of a sudden, I'm like, yo, y'all humans are stupid. What are you doing? It took you this long. Like, you ain't figured shit out. And he just looks at me and he says, well, sometimes, Chris, it's just a reflection of yourself. And that's when it melted. My brain melted, man. It's just everything. I was like, oh, what? I was like, this can't be Corey talking, man. I was like, all right, wait. If this ain't Corey talking, I'm dead, and I'm talking to God or the devil, or I'm in a coma, and this is all like a vision or dream, or like it's a really powerful vision. You know, this ain't real, man. Something happened to me, and all of a sudden I'm thinking I'm dead. You know, that's the main thought coming to me. I'm dead. DEAD, dead. I overdosed I'm the first to overdose on mushrooms. Oh my God, I died on mushrooms. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. And I said, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm talking to a deity of some sort now. I said, oh, well, can I go back? He's like, well, unfortunately, you got to start all over from the very beginning. And I'm thinking, I got to do all this over again? It's like, yeah. And I said, well, wait, can't I go back to where I was? He's like, And he walks downstairs before answering. I'm like, what? I'm following him downstairs. I'm like, can I go back to where I was? And then Corey's back. Just Corey. He's like, yeah, maybe so. Let's go watch Cocaine Bear. And I'm like, maybe that's the answer. Maybe I go sit down and I'll watch Cocaine Bear and I'll be out of the vision. I'll be back. But it didn't work that way. I get up and I start watching Cocaine Bear again, and it don't feel right, man. I feel all icky and gross, and like something's wrong. And I swear this demon came out of the TV and roared at me, dude. I look over at Corey, and he's a corpse, man. He's dead. There's no color in him. The black under his eyes, and he just looks over. He says, just watch Cocaine Bear, man. That's all you got to do. Ugh. I said, oh my God. I run back to Jen. Jen, I need help. I turn on the light, and she's all white, dead, circles under. She starts yelling, what the fuck are you doing? Get out of here. I'm like, oh my God, I did die. I'm in hell. I'm in hell. I was like, these ain't my people no more. I was like, I gotta go. I gotta leave. I walk out to my backyard. I look at the sky and I said, Jesus, I guess I fucked up somewhere, huh? I guess I messed up somewhere. Silence. It's darker than I've ever seen it outside. There's no lights in the neighborhood on, man. I'm like, this has to be hell. So I open my back gate and I take off walking. And it's just, I'm thinking I'm dead. This is like the Egyptian book of the dead. I'm in the land of the dead and I'm trying to just, then my life review starts, bro. I start seeing from the time, like my whole life flashing in front of me. Like here, and I just, the awareness washes over. I'm dead. Just deal with it. You're going to find your way. We'll find where you're supposed to go. That's what this is all about. It may take a while. You may be walking these streets for centuries, but you'll find it. So I'm just walking, man. Like I'm dead. It's crazy. And then there's people walking on the side of the street looking at me. They look like little demons. They're all contorted and like growling at me and stuff. And I'm like, man, I can't interact with nobody. That's for sure. Jeez, dude. So I'm just walking, trying to stay to myself. I look one way. There's cop cars down here. I'm like, oh, can't go. That's the authorities. They're going to bring me to hell. I'm like, I can't go that way. So I make another turn and I'm going straight. Life review, revelations of where I fucked up in my life, just all these things, man. And I'm like, I thought I did okay. Like, I thought, love thy neighbor. I was doing, I thought I was on the right track. And then I get this into, you were missing something, man. It's like, all right. Well, let's find it. Let's find what I was missing. I'm just walking. And I get to a crossroads. You could turn right or you could go straight. I look to the right and it's still kind of dark. I look straight and there's street lights all the way. I'm like, I'm going to follow these street lights, man. I took a step forward and that first street light went out. I said, okay, I'm going to go down that dark road there. So I turned to go down that dark road, man, and it's just dark and it's scary. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe if I lay down and go to sleep, I'll wake up in heaven. So I lay down in some bushes, man, and it was uncomfortable. I'm like, I can't go to sleep in this. So I'm like, fuck it. I laid in the middle of the road, man. Thank God there was no one around. I laid in the middle of the road and I'm looking at, dude, the stars were beautiful. I'm like, oh, there's beauty here in hell. Oh, these stars are beautiful. And then I heard, it's all about your perspective. I said, oh, really? Then everything just started to feel a little better. And I start to look around and the houses just kind of look like normal again. I'm like, oh, wait, I don't know if I'm in hell anymore. Maybe just like purgatory or I'm moving on up. I don't know. So I keep going a little bit and all of a sudden I'm in this beautiful neighborhood, man. These new houses, these big 2-3 story new houses. Not all of them were lit up though, but I could see they had some light in them and it was different. So I'm walking through. I'm like, man, this feels better. This feels like where I'm supposed to be, man. I'm walking along. And before that, I got to back up. When I stand up and I'm like, I don't know where I need to go. I hear this voice say, close your eyes and walk towards the light. When I first close my eyes, all I see are these little demon faces trying to eat me everywhere. I'm like, oh, God, I don't see no light. And I try it again and I turn around and I see the direction. I see this light coming out of a certain direction. It's bright and beautiful. And that's like, that's the direction I got to go. So I just keep going where that light is. And that's when I enter this new neighborhood. All right. And I can close my eyes and I can see a light in the short distance. It's like, there's a light right up there. I'm going to keep walking towards it. So I finally come across, I'm looking the whole time. I can see this one house lit up, baby. It's got the same kind of hanging lights that we got at our house around our back porch. Just been there bright as our whole back porch is like lit up at night. It's like a tennis court. And that's what this house looked like, man. Lit up, beautiful. And then I see a welcome sign over their whole door, like this big, beautiful welcome sign, man. And at first I'm like, oh, do I got to go there? So at first I walked past and I'm like, maybe I just got to go to any house and have the authorities called on me because I have to have a word with the devil right now. I'm not too happy with him. I'll just tell him, give him a piece of my mind. So it's either I'm going to go to a house and they're going to help me out, or I'm going to go to a house and they're going to bring me to the devil and we'll hatch it out that way. Right. So I was okay with it. I was cool with it, man. So it's like, this house says welcome. This place says welcome. I'm going. So I go there. I ring the doorbell, and within a couple minutes, this beautiful blonde hair lady opens the door and she says, "Can I help you?" I said, "Is this where I'm supposed to be?" She said, "Oh, hold on." She closed the door, and then this big, beautiful man opens the door, dude. He's just like tall. He's got, kind of gray hair, and he's big and burly. He's not like a fat man, or he's just a big man, and he's emanating this aura of light, dude, just light. And I said, "Is this where I'm supposed to be?" He's like, "I don't think so, but what's going on?" I said, "I think I died." He's like, he grabs my hand. He's like, "No, you're here. I feel you. I see you. You're not dead. So that's not it. Maybe it's something else." I'm like, "Well, I took a bunch of mushrooms and I don't know what happened, man." And he's like, "Well, that might be it. That might be it." He's like, "Well, would you like to go home?" And I was like, "I think so, but I don't know if that's where I belong anymore, man. I don't know." And he's like, "Well, would you like to pray with me?" I said, "Yes, I would. Yes, I would, man." And he got on his knees and I got on my knees and we started praying, man. At the time, I don't even know what he's saying. I just feel it, I don't even know what he's saying. I'm just feeling like I want to just cry and hug this man till all the breath is gone from, dude, I was like just ecstatic. I'm like, oh, the Lord saved me. Goodness gracious. And I'm like, and he's like, "Well, we can get you home if you like." I was like, I guess I'd like that, man. I said, "Can I have a hug?" And I gave this man a big old hug. And he's like, "Well, let's get you home." And we go to his driveway and he's got this big white, beautiful chariot of a truck, man, that's shining. And I get in this thing and he starts talking to me. Like, "Where are you from?" "From Louisiana." He's like, "Oh, I've been to New Orleans." And I'm thinking this dude's an angel. Like, I legit believe he's an angel. I'm like, "I bet you've been everywhere, man. I bet you've seen it all." And he's laughing, he's laughing. And he starts asking me what I do for a living. Start telling him about the show. And I was like, "Man, I do this show." And I was like, "Maybe I should give your side a shout out on my show sometime. You guys are great. You helped me so much." He's like, "Maybe you should." So we get to this house right before mine. He's like, "Is this it?" I'm like, "No, man, that's not my house." And he pulls up 2 more feet. And I'm like, "Oh, there's my house, man. There's his." I was so excited, man. I get out and I'm like, "Wait, I don't know how to re-enter this here situation. How do I do this, Leon? How do I do this?" He's like, "Well, I can't help you there, man. I think you'll figure it out. Just go to the door." And I was like, "All right, I'm gonna see you later, man." And he leaves and I get back and, man, shit's bad there. I tell you, I'm not gonna lie, shit's bad over there. Jen's worried. Corey's worried. I tried to call the cops on myself because I think I'm still dead. And I'm like, I need to prove that I'm not dead somehow, man. I need proof. Come and do those defibrillators on me or something. Like, I was ready. They had to grab the phone from my hands multiple times, man. So I'm struggling. That night was hard. It was a hard night. I was like, "What just happened, dude? Did God just lead me somewhere and give me an answer to something?" I don't know, man. I don't know. So the next day I wake up. I didn't sleep a wink. I'm hungover from mushrooms and I'm just like, "Oh, what just happened, dude? What just happened?" Jen's like, "Go to the mountains, ground yourself." I'm like, "It's a good idea, maybe." I grab my dog, Sally dog, and I'm like, "Let's just go somewhere, man. Let's go." And I start to drive and I'm like, "I need to go to that preacher man's house." I need to go. At the time, I didn't know this, but I driving down the road, man, and I just end up at his house. I just found it. I don't know how I found it because I was out of my mind the night before, just wandering. I find it. I see the big, beautiful welcome sign. I'm like, I got to talk to them. Go ring the doorbell. His wife answers the door again. She's like, Chris, I'm so glad to see you. She gives me a big hug, man. I'm like, hey. She's like, Pastor Craig's not home right now. He's going to be giving a sermon at the church at 9th. I said, Pastor? She said, he's a pastor. Would you like to come to church with us? I said, yeah, man, I think I would. So yeah, man, I went to church that day for the first time in I don't know how long, man. I don't know how long. And it was beautiful. I felt a sense of home there. I felt a little bit like this is close. This is really close, man. And I received the sacrament. I did the body and blood of JC, man. I did that. And as I did that, I felt something just clicked in my brain, man. It all started coming together. And I'm listening to the sermon and I'm like, they're missing some pieces, man. Oh, this is sad. You Christians are scared, bro. You're scared of everything. And it don't gotta be this way. Hold on. So after mass ends, I have my first conversation with the preacher, man, about everything. We hugging, man. We have coffee together. And I tell him my life story, almost like everything. And I could tell this man's intrigued and he's, kind of perplexed because I'm bringing some new understandings he never heard before, man. And it's like, and he's like, I need to have another conversation with you. And I'm like, I need to figure some things out. It's still kind of fuzzy for me. I hadn't put it all together. Next day I wake up, no, not good sleep again, but is feeling better. I actually do go out to the mountains this time. And I call my brother who is born again and he's loved JC. And I had to kind of tell him about everything. And man, he's so he's like above the moon about everything. And I'm like, there's something I need to figure out with all this, man. I need to figure this out because there's a major puzzle piece here for me. And I don't think I would have been shown all the other crazy things that I've been shown in my life and the realizations of all these other truths that are still true and have this one truth negate all of that. That's not the way it is, man. So there's truth and then there's confusion. So let's go through some of my realizations here about everything, man. So first of all, God works in mysterious ways, man. We all have a path. We all have a destiny. We all have a job to do here. And I was searching for my job, man, and it presented itself to me in the most clear way. And hey, you know what? This is another beautiful thing, man. What Christians think of hell and damnation, that don't exist. You know what? Reincarnation is real, though. And if you don't figure it out, if you don't find your home, you're going to come back and you're going to do it again till you figure it out. And you know what? Some people consider that hell. I did for a while. But it's your perspective, man. This place can either be paradise or it can be heaven on earth. It's what you make of it. Now, these things weren't clear to me before. And I was not clear that there was reincarnation. I was not clear that there was a creator God. And I had too many beliefs, just like that lady told me, man. I had too many. I had to find my home, man. So I've been reincarnated thousands and thousands and thousands of times. Man, too many to get it right. And you know what? I think we all have. And so there's something special happening now, man. And reincarnation is just about finding your true home. Now, I'm going to tell you something else I learned. God's real. He is the creator of all, and I mean the heavens, the earth, the universe, the aliens, the ladybugs, the trees, everything that you understand beyond your perception and beyond that. He is the creator of it all. He done did it, so he created this special place called planet Earth so that all his other creations can come here and learn from each other, man. So at first, God created the Elohim which we understand nowadays as extraterrestrials, man. Okay. So God creates these extraterrestrial deities. Okay. He says, y'all, my workforce bros, y'all got the knowledge of science. Y'all got the knowledge of DNA. Y'all got the knowledge of all these things of how to create. And I'm a creator, man. So we're going to get together, God and the Elohim together, and we're going to create something new called man. All right. All right. And y'all going to have your influence over man. All right. Each and every one of you. But there's going to be one influence here that they got to find. They got to find. They got to find. If they don't find it, they're going to keep going around to y'all, which y'all got great knowledge, man. Y'all got nuggets of beauty and wisdom and cosmic everything. But they're until, and y'all can't tell them the answers. Y'all just got to play the game, man. Y'all the cosmic ambassadors, y'all the cosmic referees of this game. Y'all just got to play along. You feed them seed the information, see what they do with it, man. See what they do. I'm going to just be up here observing. I'm going to be up here waiting for them to make that ultimate realization, okay? But y'all, God created the Elohim, and they work together to create us, okay? They create us, man. And this is beautiful, this whole place. The Elohim can come down and experience. Everyone, the plants experience. It's all about learning, and all that knowledge is filtered up to him, and he learns some things, man. That's what he's learning from us. We're the experiencers, and he is the circuitry and the system that it all goes back to, and it then comes back to us, man. So that's one part of the good news, man. The best news of all time is that no one was wrong. Not one of these religious spiritual systems was wrong about anything, man. They had it right. They just didn't have the final piece of the puzzle. Man, the final piece of the puzzle. All things go through God because he created it all, man. You just got to find your home. He's your daddy, dude. He's all our daddies. He's the devil's daddy. He's the Buddha's daddy. He's everyone's daddy. He made it all, bro. But he works with them. He parties with them. They smoke blunts together, bro. They're partying in the cosmos together. They get shit done, but they got their jobs to do, and they can't let us know these things, man. Even the devil got his job to do. But guess what? This is the best news of all. It's time for us all to go home. This time. No, this time. Don't say it. Don't say, no, no. This time, we all have the opportunity to go home. We all do. And that's the good news. I'm telling everyone. I'm telling my plants. I'm telling my dogs. I'm telling the hair on my chinny chin. I'm telling Jen. I'm telling everyone, man. I'm going to tell this pastor today. I'm going to lunch with the pastor at 3:00 p.m. and I'm going to school him on some things, man. And this is it. Dude, this was what we've all been waiting for. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. This is it. Okay. It's just the understanding. And I know it. I have a belief, man. I believe it. For the first time in my life, I believe it, man. So let's go back to, first of all, my second contact experience when I'm in a tub and I'm in a ship and all these etheric beings are like, do you accept something? Well, they said, son, do you accept your role and duty on this earth to be a cosmic ambassador and bring together all of the understandings to the cosmos so that we can all know the truth and go home? I said, yes. I said, yes, I will. And I remembered it. I remembered it, baby. So going back again to my childhood and these mysterious Masonic meetings I'd be bringing to. Man, I remember this fishing trip I went on with the Grand Master, just me and him. I cut my leg. I fell and cut my leg, and he was so happy. It's like, why are you happy? Took some of my blood, man. He put it in something. He said, you're important, man. You just wait. And that's all that happened. I just didn't know. I didn't understand something. Now going back to another part of my childhood I missed. I told this yesterday, but I left it out again. When I was 13, 14, I went to my Catholic confirmation, and it was at a retreat in Lumen Christi in the swamps of Louisiana in the middle of nowhere. And again, I'm an outcast. I'm in school. My classmates hate me. All my friends at the time didn't go to the same school as me, man. They were elsewhere. So I'm stuck with these people that bully me. I'm at this retreat. I don't want to be there. I'm scared of the Catholic religion. I'm scared of the dogma. What am I doing here? Well, one night we're having a church mass, and I'm in the back. I'm by myself. All the kids are in the front, doing their thing. I'm in the back. Wall behind me. Nothing behind me, man. I hear, "Hey, Chris." I said, "What?" No one there. And then this side, "Hey, Chris." I was like, "Is there a ghost in this church? Is this God? Oh my God." I rejected it. I said, "No, I can't do this." So I just put it out of my mind. The next day we have the big finale of the confirmation thing, and these two ladies are going around and praying on all the kids, man. They're saying their prayers and telling the kids what they see about their future and what they could do. And it's all beautiful things, man. But I'm like, I don't want her. Don't keep her away from me, man. And it's all basic stuff with all the kids, some of them are crying. Some of them are like, "Oh, praise Jesus." And she's just telling them, "You're going to be a beautiful this." Man, they get to me and they start shaking and shit, man. And they start like, "Oh my Lord." Like it gets dramatic and all the kids are like laughing and shit. And I'm like, I'm the center of attention. Like, I'm scared, man. What is going on? And they're like, "Chris, we see it. You have a divine special future, all this stuff." And I'm like, just trying to block it out. Like, no. And so, that thing ends, and that memory was like such a traumatic experience for me that stayed with me my entire life. Like, why? What's this about, dude? And just looking back at all the pieces of my life that had led me to that pastor's door, and it was every step of my life. It was every moment of my life. It was every millisecond that was leading me, man. So that's the good news. We got a path, baby. And you ain't got to be worried because you have a destiny. And as long as you follow that destiny, you got like cosmic protection. You got these forces that are working with you, and you got God, man. And you get to go home. Like, you ain't got to do this no more. Nope. So I'm gonna just leave it there. I'm gonna let it simmer and see what we got.
Well, of course, I've got so many questions and so many things to ask you about this. We are going to do that in the afterthought. So before we get over there, I'm going to absolutely thank you and give you the last word here. But holy shit, Chris. I mean, just not only the passion at which you talk about this, but dude, like I said, I've got a lot of questions. So we're going to go into that in the afterthought. And thank you for sharing this with us. I'm going to be linking, of course, all the ways to find you, your website. Of course, your May the 4th. We're definitely going to link that, as well as your movie on Tubi, dude. I'm very proud of you. And you just keep continuing to crush and move forward and elevate. And you're doing it so boldly and so authentically. Like I said, so many things to ask here. So I, though, want to also mention our creative expansion artist, Allison, here is going to join us as well in the afterthought and hop on and speak with us here. But I did want to just kind of point out what she's making there. Check that out. Isn't that cool?
Yes, dude. I've been watching it like as we're talking. That is beautiful. It's the sun and the moon, baby. I love it.
Look familiar? Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Beautiful.
Yes, it does.
Doing that just for you, dude. That's cool as shit.
Hell yeah, man. I love it.
All the ways to find Allison, her Instagram, as well as Unravel with Allison, her podcast, so you guys can check that out. Just want to thank her so much for her time in doing this. And again, guys, for the audio-only audience, check the video link in the show description. Also, sign up over there to support your favorite show on Patreon and join us for these live hangouts that we're doing and get access to all the bonus stuff. Dude, Chris cannot thank you enough. So give us the last word here before we jump into this massive afterthought. Tell us, what I know what keeps getting you up every morning, but what is like the next phase of this for you? What are you so excited for to see with this new revelation occur next in your life?
I'm excited for every one of you to come to the same realization, man. It's happening. Every one of us can do it. Just become aware of it. And that's what it's all about. Last time this happened, God sent one man down. His name was Jesus Christ. He sent one man, and one man was apparently not enough. So this time around, he's sending millions of men down. You, me, her, him. We all gonna be JC, bro. That's it. We all gonna be the Christ, and we're all gonna bring the message, and there ain't nothing stopping that. One man, yeah, he was stoppable, but not a bajillion men. No, they not, and we not, and we gonna get it, and we gonna do it, and yes, we going home, baby.